Almost 6 months after 11 people fell from a ride at the Delta Fair, the local I-Team has uncovered new documents that reveal the ride's owner failed to follow safety standards adopted by Tennessee law.
Yeah, children and teens sustained broken bones and concussions in September after safety harnesses on the Moonraker ride released before the ride ended. The local I-Team dug into recently released federal documents. Investigator Maria Hallis also spoke exclusively to a young victim who says she is still physically and mentally traumatized. Maria joins us live in the studio tonight. Good evening, Maria.
Good evening, Brandon and Katina. This inspector's report reveals the ride's owner, Bell City Amusements, did not follow safety standards, which could have prevented the operator from releasing the riders in midair. Bell City should not have bypassed safety features and allowed the ride to operate in a mode reserved for performing maintenance. Had safety guidelines been followed, the operator would not have been allowed to release the riders when he pressed the release button. Kira Parrish fell from the ride. She claims she is still struggling after lingering effects from a concussion.
I'm a single teenage mother and Molly has.
Kira Parrish says she could think of only her 6-month-old son, Dimitri, when the Moonraker suddenly released its harnesses and dropped her in midair.
I'm sorry.
Parrish says she fell from the ride and smacked her head on metal.
It's hard to concentrate. I forget everything.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission investigated the Moonraker after the incident. In its report, the CPSC says the ride was lifted at an angle between 35 and 80 degrees when the shutdown fault light went on. The report goes on to say the operator switched the ride from automatic to manual or maintenance mode to lower it to a level position, but then mistakenly hit the open lap bar switch, causing the riders to fall. Spokesman for the ride at the time blamed operator error or some mechanical malfunction.
The gentleman operating the ride at the time, competent operator, unfortunately what he did, he made a mistake.
But an inspector's report dated 1 day after the incident found that while the ride was operating and in midair, programmable safety features were bypassed. That in turn allowed the operator to release the harnesses. According to Outdoor Amusement Business Association and International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, amusements, both fixed and non-fixed rides, should have built-in safeguards to prevent operation while in maintenance mode, and those safeguards should not be overridden. When it comes to safety, there can be no shortcuts.
Bypass means I know it's there, but I'm not going to do that.
Randall Fishman is a Memphis attorney who is not associated with this case.
Putting it in its best light for the defendant, it sounds as if there was a mechanism to provide for the safety of these children, and they put the operator in a position where human error could come in. That sounds like an intentional act, which could give rise to potential punitive damages.
We contacted the company that owns the ride, Bell City Amusements, with questions raised in the federal report and in our own investigation. The Florida-based company has not responded. Its contractor at Delta Fair, Amusements of America, has also not responded. We did get in touch with Delta Fair owner Mark Lovell. He said the CPSC finding that said the ride was overhauled and the inspector's report that the safeties were bypassed was new information to him.
What I was told was that's the way the ride was designed.
Lovell could not remember who he spoke with.
This whole situation could have been avoided, and it's ridiculous that it wasn't.
Now, the attorney who represents Kira Parrish and at least 7 others who claim they were injured on the Moonraker at the Delta Fair says he's working to settle their cases. He has until September to file a lawsuit. Live in the studio, I'm Maria Hallis for the local I-Team.
Maria, thank you. And the Moonraker incident inspired a Memphis-based state representative to sponsor proposed legislation. Tennessee State Representative John DeBerry introduced a bill that calls for inspectors who work for the state to examine carnival rides. DeBerry spoke with us about the bill.
What I hope to see happen is for us to like my grandpa used to say, shuck the corn and show the cob. Let's move all the distractions. Let's move all the facades. Let's look at this for what it is, and when we finish, have a law, a statute properly written to protect the people of the state of Tennessee.
Currently, ride operators are permitted to hire independent inspectors to certify the ride meets state permit requirements. DeBerry expects to see several amendments in committee.